And joining us now is Congress leader Sachin Pilot. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Pilot. You're breaking your silence after your virtual month-long Maun Vrat and your revolt, as it's being called. The narrative is this was a revolt that came unstuck, Mr. Pilot, and you've had to lick your wounds and come back to the Congress. How do you see it?
I don't know, Rajiv, where you got that information from. Coming back, what does that mean? We've all been part of the Congress party, and I think it's within our rights to raise issues that we felt were important for the government that we had to create, that we had to build for 5 years, worked on the ground, and we are accountable and answerable to the electorate who elected us. So if we have issues with the functioning, the governance, the delivery of our own government, I think it's not just prudent, but it's important for us to make that point. And the reason I have not spoken for all these weeks is because there was a court case about our membership of the House, and no matter what I would have said would have been used in the court of law, perhaps against us. That's why I was refrained by the lawyers not to speak. But I did make my point very clear from day one that we were with the Congress, we are with the Congress, and I've helped make this government. I mean, why would I wish it ill? But it's not about personalities either, Rajdeep. It's about what I felt and some of our colleagues felt was not right with the way we were functioning for 18 months. I think enough has been said from the other side. It's important to know that we remain true to our cause. 5 years of working hard on the ground to make a government, which I was a part of. So I take responsibility for that, but I think I would be doing injustice to people who helped me make this government, our workers who sweated and bled.
No, I'll come to the cause in a moment, but the manner in which you went about it, you are saying that it's not a case of a homecoming. You were always in the Congress. If you were always in the Congress, what were your MLAs doing in a Manesar hotel? What were you doing in Delhi? Why were you not going back to Jaipur when the Chief Minister Gehlot was calling meetings of the party? Let's be very clear, Sachin Pilot. You and your MLAs chose in a way to challenge Gehlot's leadership. That is the reality.
So, Rajdeep, 3 points you made. First of all, as soon as we came to Delhi, I was served a notice under the sedition charge, which is anti-national for some reason. The government of Rajasthan and the Home Ministry decided to issue me a notice, which deeply hurt me and upset all of our, some of our MLAs. And we came to Delhi to raise that point. The minute we reached here, a meeting was called, knowing very well that we are in Delhi to air our grievances. And you'd be surprised to know that in the year and a half gone by, there have been 2 or 3 Congress legislative meetings, but in the last 15 days, there have been 9 such meetings, just to prove a point, because we were here raising our issues. And you said about staying in this particular state or that particular area. When you're fearful for your life and limb, when 45 FIRs are registered against some of our MLAs, where the Rajasthan police is acting in a very prejudiced manner, whether we stay in Noida, Delhi, Faridabad, Gurgaon, Haryana, and I must also tell you that all of our legal expenses and accommodation, 20 of us, we have paid everything out of our own pocket. So please don't insinuate that we were taking hospitality of any sort. The other point you raised is that we wanted to come to Delhi and effectively change anything. No, I...
Go ahead, because the narrative is that the BJP was sponsoring you and these 18 MLAs. The narrative is the BJP was sponsoring you and these other 18 MLAs. You were waiting for your numbers to increase to 30, 35 to topple the government.
No. I know the numbers better than you, Rajdeep. I have worked to make those numbers. I know each and every MLA in our party and otherwise. So please be very clear about this. It's very easy to allege. It's very easy to create a narrative. But let's speak on facts and where we are today. The day we came to Delhi, I made a statement about remaining in this party, which I have helped form the government in Rajasthan. All of our MLAs didn't speak, or I spoke a word against the Congress party, its leadership, or even the government, because I was a part of the government. The issue was about certain things that were happening within the government and the leadership style of the Chief Minister. And I think it's not illegal, immoral, anti-national or anti-party to raise grievances about what we thought was wrong. And that was the whole idea. But the response coming from Jaipur became so acrimonious.
But you could have sat in Jaipur and done that. You could have sat in Jaipur and done that. Well, you could have sat in Jaipur, Mr. Pilot, and done that. You could have met the Congress leadership and done that. Instead, you all were all cooped up in hotels.
अरे भाई, जब जयपुर की लीडरशिप नहीं कर रही है रिस्पॉन्ड, तो क्या करेंगे आप? पिछले 18 महीने में जब मुख्यमंत्री खुद बोल रहे हैं कि हमसे बात ही नहीं हुई है, then what is the response left for us to look at? So people responsible for that communication, people responsible in the party to get that party government dialogue going, were obviously ineffective. So after 18 months, and this is not something I have said, the CM himself has said. So I think when I was working as president of the party in opposition, I was a fine person, I had all the qualities that one would desire, and suddenly when we are in government, I have become the repository of all the ill in the world that you could gather. So I think there's a bit prejudice to have said that. However, I still maintain that you have to have dignity of discourse in public life. You have to choose words very carefully. I stand by my convictions and principles and my commitment to work for the people, irrespective of whether I'm in position or not. And I have made no demands to the party to give me something. I just want issues of my MLAs and party workers who have really worked hard, Rajdeep, for 5 years. I think they deserve that space, that self-respect and dignity to be able to deliver to people they promised. If you can't work for the people, if you can't deliver on promises, then what good is being in government?
Okay, let's get straight answers. Are you very clear that at no stage were you in contact with the BJP? You were at no stage in contact with Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, Amit Shah, that your MLA Vishwendra Singh, who has been suspended, was in touch with the BJP leadership, that the MLA who was part of your group, Bhavanlal Sharma, whose audio transcripts allegedly suggest he was in touch with the BJP. Are you telling me neither you nor your MLAs at any stage were in touch with the BJP to topple the Gehlot government?
Rajdeep, I think I've heard enough of this for the last 3 weeks, and because of the court hearings, I was not able to state my point. But let me tell you very candidly, from day one, and all the while that my supporters and MLAs were in Delhi, etc., nobody contacted anybody. If the opposition was trying to find some way to get in and do their politics, I mean, that's their job, they might do it. But as far as we were concerned, I have not spoken to any of those people that you mentioned. I was in touch with our MLAs who are here, and I think we were actually firefighting because there were lots of attacks on some of these MLAs. There were SOG cases, ACB cases, FIRs, suspension notices, court cases. So we were trying to battle that every day. And I think the party realizes at the highest levels that we need to address this issue. It can't be left to just one state or one leadership to address, because Congress is a national party. And I have nothing personally against Mr. Gehlot as a person. He's much older to me. I've always held him in high regard. He's a very experienced man. But when I see something from very close quarters which I felt was not appropriate, it's my right, my obligation to air those views. That can't be something wrong. I think Congress is a democratic party to the extent that we can say and get our voices heard. And I'm very happy that yesterday both Rahul ji and Priyanka Gandhi also very categorically said that we will find a roadmap to address those issues. And I've also said that anyone who raises a voice against someone, that person can't be meted out with vendetta politics. So their interests have to be protected. They can't be seen as outliers. They're within the party. And some of these MLAs, have gone to jail with Indira Gandhi. They are 7-term MLAs, 6-term MLAs. These are people who have actually built the Congress party. So you have to view all their grievances in that light.
I'll come to the roadmap in a moment, but I want to understand, you are going back now to Jaipur, to Rajasthan, to be under the leadership of the man who has called you Nikamma. He's called you handsome, English speaking, TV friendly, but a Nikamma. You are going back to work under him. You have lost your party presidentship. You have lost your deputy chief ministership, but you are going back to Ashok Gehlot, which is why the media narrative is Sachin Pilot has lost out, Mr. Gehlot has won, and you now have no choice but to go and work under him.
I'll ease you of your problems. I think the best way to describe the situation is that Ashok Gehlot ji is chief minister, and he's my senior colleague, and we've worked together before. It's not that this is the first time it's happening, but I stand by what I believe in. I will always remain committed to my convictions, and I will call a spade a spade. It doesn't matter what circumstances there are. Positions and posts can come and go. It's the faith of the people that I think must remain unbroken, and that is my endeavor to work towards creating and building that. I owe the people a lot for the last 2 decades. I have worked in Rajasthan and everywhere, and I think I have that sense of support amongst the people that I can be the representative. Whether I'm in a high or a low position is not important. I have not asked for any positions. I have not said I want this post or that post. I felt something was wrong. It needed to be fixed. We have elections to face in 3 years' time. Ashokji's been CM before twice. We haven't had good results when he's led the party, and I think it's important to change some of that strategy. Otherwise, we'll end up with the same results. There's nothing wrong in saying that. People may view it. I have had some of my colleagues say things about me, but I just wish them all the best. I want to take the high moral stand. If you want to call it that, but in politics, there is no place for venom.
You are being called a young man in a hurry.
I don't believe in that.
No, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. But you are being called by your critics as a young man in a hurry. You had already been made Rajasthan. No, hurry to get the chair of Rajasthan. You believe that it was your right to be chief minister because you were Rajasthan Congress president in 2018 when you won the election, and this has been simmering for 2 years. Let's call a spade since you said that. The fact is you expected to be made chief minister. You were passed over for Mr. Gehlot, who had the support of the majority of the legislators, and that has embittered you over the last 18 months, particularly because you believe Mr. Gehlot has not accommodated you at any level. That's the honest truth. So are you a young man in a hurry who perhaps could have waited a little longer?
Rajdeep, that's too simplistic a version that you're narrating. That's not how it is, to be honest with you. 2018, we won the elections. We formed a government. We were 21 seats 5 years before that when I took over as party president. And once we won the election, it's not about the MLAs as much. I think it is about having the decision left to the Congress leadership. So all of us said that the Congress president will take a call who will do what job. I was asked to become deputy chief minister. I have to be honest, I was reluctant in the beginning, but in the interest of the party, I took up that job. I remained party president for a year and a half. So I had the party presidentship and the deputy chief ministership. And frankly speaking, I was quite happy to do that job for as long as the party wanted me to. But the CM himself has said that he has not spoken for a year and a half now. There's no communication and there is no partnering in efforts. There is no collective and collaborative leadership, which I believe is important. I think I'm within my rights to say that. I was on post and positions. I'm not anymore. It's fine. It's absolutely fine with me. I have absolutely no regrets. But I do believe that in politics, in Congress, in Rajasthan, there is a certain narrative that we've built. There's a certain trust we've created. We can't betray that trust. Positions will come and go. It's not as important. But I think it's too simplistic to say that I wanted this and that's why I did this. And if you don't have the regard and the respect that a worker should get. If I can't, but those people who have bled for me, people who have sweated for me, people who have walked miles, if I can't help those people, if those people can't deliver on their promises, then really being in government just to have a house and a car, I think that's pointless then.
So you're telling me this fight was not about the chair of Rajasthan, this was about fighting for what you believe was your right and the right of your workers. You say this was not a personality clash between you and Ashok Gehlot. It's been pushed as old guard versus new guard. It's been pushed as the rooted Ashok Gehlot versus the parachuted Sachin Pilot, the English-speaking Pilot versus the Hindi-speaking Gehlot. You're telling me all these binaries are not true? You're telling me that you and Ashok Gehlot can now work together? Really? After he called you a Nikamma?
Well, I think whatever words he may have used, it deeply hurt me, but I chose not to respond to it because I think two wrongs don't make a right. I want to be above that. I want to make it about issues and principles, not about persons and personalities. I think it doesn't work like that in politics. You, of course, have a narrative of old, young personality. You keep, being bilingual is an advantage or disadvantage. I don't know. You said about parachute and grassroots. I have won many elections. I have won from corporation to district to state to Lok Sabha by-elections. I've traveled lakhs of kilometers, and I have the great honor of creating a personal bond with my party workers across 33 districts of Rajasthan. So that hasn't come about in a day, and you can't parachute and develop an emotional bond with the party workers. It takes a lot more than that, and I know that. So I'm not flaunting what I've done and not done. All I'm saying is it's for the record. What I have done and not done is for the people to judge, it's for the party to judge. And like I said, my issues and my colleagues' issues have been taken up sincerely and seriously, and I've been assured that in time-bound fashion, all of that will be resolved.
That's what I want to come to. You say there's a roadmap that has been assured to you. Is the roadmap? There are two views that are being, there are two versions being told to us. One is that you have to come out of Rajasthan and become and work in Delhi in the party, in the Congress party. The other is that you've been promised within a year to possibly just before the 2023 next election in Rajasthan, you will be the CM face. What have you been promised? What is the roadmap that you are looking at? Will you stay in Rajasthan or come to Delhi now?
You see, I don't think A or B is important. What's important is that we have 3 years left for the next elections. And we must sincerely work towards being able to pass the test when the time comes. Whatever it takes, whatever inputs are needed, whatever hard work is needed, we all have to do it collectively. I have not asked for any positions or commitment or promises. All I wanted is that people who have worked hard in the party, they must be given due recognition. And I think that was not happening to the extent that I wanted. And that was the main issue. And people were sidelined and ignored. There was partisan way of looking at things and working in all aspects of governance. And that has to be addressed if we have to deliver on our manifesto promises. So, like I said earlier, I have not asked for any positions or posts. It's for the party. I have left the decision to the Congress president and the party what they want.
Have you been promised to be made the next chief ministerial face? Have you been promised to be made?
I don't think any.
Have you been promised that you will be the next chief ministerial face?
How and what the future holds. I said I don't think any party works like that.
You know, given that, is it true that
we have to best deal with that first and then see what happens in the future?
Right. Is it true that Priyanka Gandhi is the one who broke the ice? Is she the one who's brought you back? There's talk that Priyanka Gandhi brought you back into the party fold.
You know, you keep saying brought me back. I wonder from where. I mean, we were sitting here as Congress MLAs. We have been speaking as Congress MLAs. And from day one, I had stated my intention not to undermine that position, no matter what anyone alleged or anyone, accused us of. So there's no question of that, what you earlier said. But yes, both Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi, I think, were open enough to discuss things in a very frank and free atmosphere, which was needed. I think the other communications that were happening at the party level, right from the year and a half that I talked about, were not conducive and were not non-partisan. And that was required to be done.
Okay, so let me ask you again one last time. You say that at no stage did you communicate with the BJP. You are not going to be a Jyotiraditya Scindia who was striking a deal with the BJP. You didn't have any plans to forge a regional party and take the support of the BJP. You had no plans to topple the Ashok Gehlot government, a government where the MLAs have been ferreted from Fairmont Hotel to Jaisalmer, even as your MLAs were in Delhi. You are telling me all of this was all within the Congress parivar, that all of us who are assuming that you were going with the BJP have got it horribly wrong.
Rajdeep, listen, there is no end to rumors, there is no end to allegations, there is no end to finger pointing. It can go on till the cows come home. The fact of the matter is, look at the reality, look at the actions, look at the words of myself or any of my colleagues. You point to me one word, one sentence, one paragraph that any of us has said that would make you think otherwise. All of our MLAs, and don't forget, these MLAs are not, like I said, one is a 7-term MLA, 6-term MLA. They've been Speaker of the House, they've been CLP leaders, cabinet ministers, and they've gone to jail with Indira Gandhi. I mean, these people are people who are committed to the party, and from day one we've said that we are here to air our grievances for what we believe is right. I think any insinuation, any allegation that media stories or people who are politically against us have been pointing, I mean, where's the proof of any of that? And today where we stand, I think pretty vindicated on what our stand was on day one.
No, how are you vindicated? That's my final question. Do you feel you're vindicated, or do you believe that you've learnt a lesson in politics? That in politics you can't be over-ambitious as your critics accuse you. You can't be someone who openly takes on his leadership as you have been accused in Rajasthan. Is this a lesson, Sachin Pilot, for you, that you've got to be much more patient, that you can't be a sort of, as I said earlier, a young man in a hurry in the Congress at 42 years, you can't really apparently aspire to be chief minister? Is this a lesson for you?
Rajdeep, again, you put things very simply. You put things very simply. It's been almost 2 decades now, 18, 19 years since I've been working as a political worker. I worked in many capacities. I worked across the country. I worked in Rajasthan. And I think I've been given enough by the party in terms of positions. What I will not, I think, compromise in what I believe inside of me. If I feel something is wrong, please allow me the space and the freedom to say those things. If that means that I'm opposing an individual or I'm speaking against somebody, so be it. If it's seen as ambition because I criticize someone or who I'm not happy with in the way they're functioning, that I think is a bit unfair. And I've got enough, and I was working in Rajasthan for 6.5 years. How come all my all my qualities seem to exist up until I was in the opposition? And the minute I became part of the government, I had none of those qualities, and I became sort of a quote-unquote evil person. I think it's okay. So to answer your question, Rajdeep, I am a very satisfied person. God has been kind to me. I've gotten everything in life. I'm thankful for that. But as a political worker, as someone who is doing public representation, it is my duty, my right, and my obligation to speak when I feel it needs to be spoken. If you view it differently, so be it. But I don't think I will compromise on the fact that I remain loyal to myself and I have faith in what I believe in. People can view it, judge it. I think that's up to all of you. I don't think I can add anything more than that.
So is this a temporary truce? Is this only a temporary truce, Mr. Pilot? Because many of those issues still remain unaddressed. How do we know that your relationship with Mr. Gehlot will improve in the months ahead? Maybe your MLAs are simply waiting for another opportunity to strike. Is this only a temporary truce?
My God. You never stop telling tales, do you? I mean, the one thing khatam nahi hota, you start with the other thing. It's not about two individuals, no. It's about the organization and the government. And we are a large number of people involved in all of that. AICC has set up a committee. We look at all issues, and I think anything that needs to be said or done will evolve in time. It's far too soon to, predict the future. But I think the direction is positive. We have a roadmap and a framework to address issues. That's very important. And I've been assured by the party that within a reasonable time, we'll come up and solve all those issues. I think once that is done, things should be all okay in the end.
And your future is in Rajasthan, or is it, as I said, because the Congress is seen as rudderless here in Delhi, there's been talk over time that you need a change in a style in leadership in Delhi as well. Do you see at all playing a role here in Delhi? Or I want to ask you, are you still determined that your Karma Bhumi will remain Rajasthan?
When I was given a job to be a minister in the government of India by the party, I was living in Delhi. When I was made party president of Rajasthan, I was in Jaipur. Now, it depends what the party wants me to do, but the fact is that I am an MLA from Jaipur, and I have a certain obligation to those people who have elected me, people who I've worked with, people I've forged lifelong bonds with. I can never let that go, obviously.
One final question. What is the biggest lesson you've learned in this last month? Is there a lesson? We all learn lessons in life. Is there a lesson perhaps that you next time need to perhaps move step by step? You need to plan better. If at all you want to raise these issues, raise it within your party, not in any other fora. What is the one lesson that Sachin Pilot has learned from the last month of this rebellion in Rajasthan that almost brought down your government?
Do you want me to be completely honest with you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I think the lesson I've learned is that don't believe everything that comes out of the media. That's a very good lesson, not just for me, but every one of us, because you feel different things, you say different things, it's projected differently.
Sachin Pilot, you are going, surely you are not going to blame the media. Please do not blame the media.
I'm not blaming.
Sachin Pilot, please do not blame the media.
Did I do that?
102 MLAs are sitting in Fairmont Hotel and then shifted to Jaisalmer.
Again you're getting, I said to you, my lesson, you asked for my lesson, I said, can I be honest? I asked your permission. And my lesson is that one must not believe everything, not you and your channel. I'm just saying generally what is put out in the media, one must not believe everything. That goes for me and for others in politics.
Okay. Sachin Pilot, I wish you well. You are still a young politician with a future in your party and possibly in national politics. Thank you very much for joining me here on this special. Sachin Pilot, he is back in the Congress Parivar. He says he never left. Let's get back to the news on India Today.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.